Greetings. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2020 Jeannie Carmichael non-dancing ball. Lots of non-dancing events this year, and when we decided to go ahead with this, we found lots of things that we could do, and so we have a nice program this afternoon. And so welcome to everybody. We'll have a short interval with a couple of announcements. I will monitor the chat and that people write in. If there's something really, really interesting, I'll pass it on. Otherwise, you can look at the chat messages at the side of your screen, and there should be a way that you can find that at the bottom of your screen if you're on a desktop, and just click on chat, and then it will display any messages that people are typing in. So, so just keep that in mind. So I have really only to thank Robert McOwen for being with us this afternoon and turn the program over to him. And Robert is our MC. Robert.
Thank you, Isabel. All right, so I'll be introducing the various numbers that we have. We have a lot of music coming up, some of which is for dancing. And in fact, the first number that we have is a musical set by Ann and Beth. So that's Ann Hooper and Beth Murray, who are watching today. And it's for the dance Mr. William Brown's Reel. In fact, I think this was on the Jeannie Carmichael Ball last year, and that's why we're including it. But for those of you that are dancers, we thought it would be fun to remind you of how the dance goes so that as you hear the music, you can be thinking of the dance. So if you're not a dancer or you don't want to worry about that, just ignore to what I'm about to say. But let me give you a talk through of Mr. William Brown's reel, which is a 32-bar reel for 3 couples. It begins with the first 3 couples dancing mirror reels of 3, the ones dancing in and down to start the reel. And then the ones are going to turn by the right hand, moving down the set, and the 2 step up. The ones are then going to cast down around the 3s and turn by the left hand, moving up to finish in second place on your own sides. First and second couples then dance half rights and lefts, and then dance back to back with your partner. At this point, you're back in your original places, except you're on opposite sides. So first and second couples are now going to turn each other 1.5 times to get to their own sides. And then they're going to turn on the side with the left hand 1.5 times. That's the 2 men turning, the 2 women turning to reprogress to second place. So here we go with Mr. Brown's reel. Thank you, Ann and Beth.
Okay, spring up, get on your dancing shoes again. We're going to play a humdinger of a reel called Mr. William Brown's Reel, devised by Hugh Foss, with 5 rounds, beginning and ending chord. Best wishes.
Thank you, Anne and Beth. So I think that I'm just going to say a little bit about the fact that I've changed hats. I'm not just the MC, I'm also playing guitar for some numbers, including some with my wife, Barbara, and she's going to tell you what we're about to play.
Thank you, Robert. I'm going to play a traditional March Strathspey and reel set in the key of E major. The first tune is a slow march, maybe almost a lament, by William Marshall. It's called The Farewell. William Marshall was one of the great fiddlers and composers of the golden age of Scottish fiddling, which was about 200 years ago, kind of centered around Neil Gow and quite a few others, but William Marshall was definitely one of them. The Strathspey, we're going to move more into the future by 100 years, is called James O. Forbes of Course. And Course is a place name, of course. The tune is by Peter Milne, who lived about 100 years ago. He's most famous for writing John McNeill's reel, which many dancers and fiddlers know all over the place. And finally, we'll finish up with a reel by Peter Milne's younger fiddle pal and sidekick, James Scott Skinner, and it's called Charlie Hardy. Just a minute. Got warm.
You ready?
Just check. Just.
Ready? Sorry, it looks like our original sound is off. I need to turn that on. So this should be better. All right, let's try that again.
I can
Sorry.
never hear the difference.
Okay.
It's okay, take two.
Thank you. Sorry about that little interruption. We had reset the original sound setting before in the sound check, and then for some reason my Zoom went back to sound off. So hopefully that was a good quality of sound. All right, so I'm carrying on as MC. Great, good. So we're carrying on as MC. So the next number is the Andersons. So we have Elizabeth Anderson, who plays fiddle, and her brother Ben, who plays the cello. Elizabeth is actually the current U.S. national Scottish fiddle champion. So, you know, no, no slouch there. We were very pleased to have Elizabeth play with us in Tullagorum last year for the Jeannie Carmichael Ball. So she was, I think, going to do it again this year, or maybe not, but we're pleased that she can join us here for this non-dancing JC Ball.
Yes, to everybody.
Yeah, okay. And here her brother Ben just graduated from WPI in computer science. So, all right. So, and I know that Elizabeth teaches, she leads the middle school orchestra in Walpole. So they're very accomplished siblings. All right. So, and I think they're going to explain what tunes you're going to hear. So I'll pass it over to Elizabeth and Ben. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. We are so happy to be here. We did, so I made the trip down to New York last year to play for last year's Jeannie Carmichael. Ben has never had the pleasure, but we play in a duo. And so we're going to play a set of Strat Spays and reels for you that we've been playing for quite some time.
thank you, Elizabeth and Ben. So for those of you that hadn't figured out, the reason that video was so smooth is they're live. So it wasn't recorded. It's only the recorded videos we have the technical difficulty with. So coming up next, so this is, of course, the Jeannie Carmichael non-dancing ball. And I've been to many Jeannie Carmichael balls, both as a dancer and as a musician, and have heard the name Jeannie Carmichael for many, many years, but I've never really known very much about her. But we're now going to have a special presentation. So Nicholas Procini is going to tell us. All right, so I think we'll continue with the program. So we now have another set of tunes. So this is going to be Marielle Webster playing with Terry Traub. Marielle and Terry played with Tulligorm for the JC Ball last year. Marielle and Campbell Webster, he'll be appearing later in the program. But Marielle is a former fiddle student of Barbara's, so Barbara was happy to include her in Tulligorm last year. Now, Marielle and Terry will be playing several tunes. They're going to start with The Banks of Spey, which is a famous Strathspey, and then they'll be playing a couple of reels, Bombardier, Beetle, and Sandy Cameron. So take it away, Marielle and Terry. Thank you to Marielle and Terry for those great tunes. Now we're going to have a little change of pace. So you can see I'm back to playing guitar, but we're now going to have a little sing-along to a well-known Burns song that Barbara's going to talk about.
It'll be Green Grow the Rashes. We can't dance much these days, but we can sing, and we humbly request that you do sing, as I'm only speaking for myself, but I'm not a singer. But it's nice to have guitar to accompany us. This is part of a New York branch tradition that I've experienced coming down, living in New York for a year and coming down pretty much every year to have a sing-along after a ball, either the Jeannie Carmichael ball or at Pauling. Green Grow the Rashes is a reel that Robert Burns more or less turned into a strathspey with these rousing words. The tune goes back at least to the 1600s. It's one of the oldest tunes in our current repertoire. There is an Aristides dance with this by that title and tune, but I don't see it on programs anymore, but it's a great song. Okay, everybody ready? A little intro and a little interludes in between.
You'll be getting the words to the song after the instrumental.
Yeah.
Oh, what signifies the life of man, and 'twere not for the lasses. Oh, green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spent among the lasses. Oh. The worldly race may riches chase, and riches still may fly them all, and though they lust they catch them fast, their hearts can ne'er enjoy them all. Green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spent among the lasses. But give me a canny hour a in my arms about my dearie, oh, and worldly cares and worldly men may all gay capsule teary, oh. Green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spent are spent among the lasses. Oh. You say deuce, you sneer at this, you're not but senseless asses. Oh, the wisest man the world e'er saw, he dearly loved the lasses. Oh, green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spent among the lasses. Oh. Old nature swears the lovely dears, her noblest work she classes, oh, her apprentice hand she tried on man, and then she made the lasses. Oh, green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spent among the lasses. Oh, green grow the rashes, oh, green grow the rashes, oh, the sweetest hours that e'er I spent are spent among the lasses. Oh. Good, I hope you all enjoyed that, sang along with us. All right, so we have one more number before intermission, and that's going to be the Andersons coming back, and they're going to play the Left-Handed Fiddler, which is another dance, and I'm going to talk it through because it's a dance, so you can imagine yourself doing it. And I should mention that the tune, the Left-Handed Fiddler, was composed by J. Scott Skinner, but the dance was devised by Howard Lasnik of the Boston branch and dedicated to Barbara. So the dance features a lot of left-handed things because of the title. So it begins with ones turning by the left hand once round, casting off one place. Then they turn by the left hands and cast up, man up, woman down, to finish nearer hands joined facing second woman. But the woman is on the man's right. They set to second woman, turn inwards to face third man, set to third man, rotate to face third woman, set to third woman, rotate inwards to face second man, set to second man. Then the first man pulls his left shoulder back, and you're going to turn corner partner, but starting with the left hand, which makes it all much easier. So you turn your first corner by the left hand, partner by the right hand, second corner by the left hand, partner by the right to finish in second place on your own sides, ready to circle 6 hands round to the left and back to the right. So take it away, Elizabeth and Ben.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks for the briefing. So we are going to do this 6 times through, and our set has a bunch of our favorite tunes. So the Left-Handed Fiddler is the title tune by J.S. Skinner, as Robert mentioned. And then the Black Mill, Tail Toddle, and the Glen Burning Rant, also known as Fight About the Fireside, which is a Neil Gow tune. And this dance is a favorite up in Boston. And so in the last year, I played this set for a number of dances. So this is one of our favorite dances up here.
Actually, I'm going to pass it over to Isabel. I think Isabel
I'm going to pass it back.
You have announcements, right?
Uh, uh, just to say thanks so much for everybody who's here. It's so nice to see lots of people, and the geographic distribution is really wonderful too. I just want to say that we are taking donations today. We are not charging to attend the Zoom presentation, but we are taking donations for the musicians. It's really difficult to wrap our minds around the fact that for a number of the people we love so dearly, their income went from making a living to zero. I just bid farewell on last week to someone a lot of you know, Chip Prince, who played a lot for Scottish country dancing, English country dancing, concerts, has a long resume in playing for Broadway shows, and his income just stopped in March. And he finally made the difficult decision to leave New York City. So I was able to see him briefly last week and hand off a volume of music from Muriel Johnstone to him. So he will still be playing, but we just won't have him in New York. So it's important, I think, to keep that in mind and try and help people if we can. So I'm posting the information about where to go. Shelby has set up a donate capability on the New York branch website, which is very easy to use. And we take PayPal or your credit card. And any amount is fine. Whatever is good for you is good for them and good for us. So that's the commercial piece of the intermission. We're going to continue on with some more music, and we have a little bit more stuff about Jeannie Carmichael to share, and also a little bit about the early days of the Jeannie Carmichael Ball in New York City. So I'm going to pass back to Robert now.
Thank you, Isabel.
Ooh.
And we have another music video coming up. So this one is Campbell Webster on bagpipes playing with Terry Traub. And we'll be playing several tunes. They're going to be playing a slow march called My Home, and then going into several jigs, including one called the Soup Dragon. Those of you that are Seinfeld.
I know the Soup Dragon. You know that.
No, we'll know what that refers to.
You know about that.
Yeah. And then finishing with High Road to Linton. And be sure to stay awake for that one, because Cam really knocks it out of the park. So here we go with the music video from Cam and Terry.
Hi, this is Marielle.
Hi, this is Cam. We hope you guys are enjoying the concert so far, and hope you guys enjoy the second half. We're so sad not to all be together this weekend, kind of dancing and playing music with all of our friends, but hopefully we'll resume that next year, and we'll see you all then.
Thank you for supporting us and our fellow musicians this year.
We're going to go on to the next set, which will be myself on border pipes with Terry Traub on the piano. Huge thanks to Terry, and also a huge thanks to Barbara and everybody else that's organized this. Hope you guys enjoy.
Great job. All right, nice to have that great pipe music. And now we have another music video coming up, and this is another dance set. This is the Wild Geese, and I'm going to pass it over to Isabel, who will talk it through as a dance, and then we'll hear from Anne and Beth.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. And just a quick word on, you know, the non-dancing. Pick the part you'd like to dance, and when the music is playing, when you hear the chord, try to visualize yourself doing that. Perhaps sitting down and just letting the music carry you along is going to be a really nice change of pace. So the dance, I selected the dance, the Wild Geese, and this was published in book 24. And book 24 was published in 1978. And 1978 was the first year that I attended a Jeannie Carmichael ball. So I kind of had fun linking up some bits and pieces, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that after we dance in virtual mode. So the Wild Geese is very familiar. It's a 32-bar jig for 3 couples. It begins with the first and third couple set advancing, and they join hands in a balance in line position, and they set. The first couple turns 3/4 by the right hand and casts off to third place, while the third couple turns and in 3/4 and dances up to top place. They're going to then, that's your first 8 bars. They're going to repeat that, setting, advancing, taking hands. This time, third couple at the top will turn and cast off to third place, while the first couple in third position will turn and dance up to top. First couple lead down the middle, dance back up to second place, the second couple stepping up while they lead down. The dance finishes with the 2s and 1s dancing rights and lefts. The Wild Geese. Take it away, Anne and Beth.
Hello, everybody. I am Ann Hooper, and as you know, this is Beth Murray playing with me, a very dear friend. We're going to play by popular demand, the Wild Geese. We're going to play for those of you who are dancing at home with your spouses or by yourselves or with your children or even your grandchildren or your dogs, maybe cats. We're going to play 5 rounds of the dance. And we hope that you're listening to rounds 2 and 4, because they are tunes by a certain fiddler whose name begins with B and whose last name begins with M.
thanks to Ann and Beth. That was a lovely rendition of Wild Geese. All right, so I'm just going to pass it right back to Isabel because she has some things about the New York branch and Jeannie Carmichael Ball. Thank you, Isabel.
Okay, thank you, Robert. The challenge in this is remembering to unmute yourself when your turn comes. When we started thinking about how to bring Jeannie Carmichael to get you better acquainted with who she was, I wanted to present a portrait of her through dancers who may have known and been taught by her in the 1950s. So you can imagine it's been a real thrill this afternoon to hear from Sylvia Misko, who did take lessons with Jeannie in Boston in those years. Reaching back over half a century to find people is not as physically taxing as archaeology, but it can be just as exciting, especially when the subject is someone who has had a profound impact on your life. For Scottish country dancers in Boston and New York, Jeannie Carmichael is that found treasure. From 1947, she worked with a group of English country dancers in Boston, and together they started the Scottish country dance class that became the first overseas branch of the Scottish Country Dance Society in 1950. She was first invited to New York in 1954 to conduct a workshop in Scottish country dancing, and very soon after, in 1955, she was traveling to New York every other week to teach the fledgling New York branch group, New York dance group. I'm told she came on the bus. So the New York branch was then established in 1959. Jeannie Carmichael died in 1966, and the New York branch held its first weekend workshop and ball in November in 1968 as a memorial to her. Although the founding members of the New York branch who knew Jeannie Carmichael are all gone, I was lucky to connect with Mary Ann Taylor's daughter, Andy. A lot of the Boston area people or Pinewoods people will know Mary Ann Taylor very well and remember her very well. And I was able to spend some time with Andy reminiscing and with getting some more information. So Risa, if you put that scroll up for people to see, please. Great. This is a presentation that was made to Jeannie Carmichael from Clan Mackenzie. So to give you a little background, before RSCDS, which lots of us have a hard time imagining that it's possible that there was time before RSCDS, the Order of Scottish Clans was a fraternal and benevolent society founded in the mid-1800s. And it was an important support for Scottish immigrants. An important role for the order was to preserve culture and traditions of Scotland among Americans of Scottish ancestry. And we can see this in this elegantly beautiful scroll that Jeannie Carmichael was certainly a moving force in those efforts through the dancing. So she was also acknowledged in the wider Scottish community in the Boston area. And it's a beautiful hand-painted piece that is just gorgeous. So my first Jeannie Carmichael ball, I've mentioned, was in 1978. And I've been to almost every ball since my first. And I've danced in every one of the ball venues that New York has had over these years. And rather than chronicle all of that, I thought we would have more fun with a reminiscence of the 1978 event, because it tells us a lot about then and now. Ball committee members and attendees will most likely recognize and have a laugh or smile at our shared experience. I found this memoir of the first ball, my first ball, in our New York branch newsletter from December of 1978, titled A Fairy Tale by Midge Priddle. I'm going to share bits from Midge's report because it is so charming, and the experience of organizing and running a ball does not change dramatically from age to age. She tells us, once upon a time, there was an RSCDS group busy with the affairs of teaching and the joys of dancing. Then one day they decided to have a ball. Everyone thought this was a splendid idea because it is such fun to get all dressed up and dance to live music with your friends from near and far. Plans were going well until it came time to print the program. Goodness gracious, there was no program. The teachers who make up the program were scattered far and wide during that summer break. Our then branch chairman, Walter Payton, again, whom some of you may remember, came up with a unique program, both in format and content. It began with a fitting salute to Miss Milligan, recalling her many travels all over the world, checked into various fancies, spent time with some willies, gave a nod to Mrs. Stewart, then a few rants, trips, and finally Toddlin Hain. There was much criticism of the program and worry about the band's experience. Midge notes that, quote, many people near and far heard the complaints. But the night of the ball finally arrived, and so did the dancers. Everyone did indeed look fine and elegant. They sipped their sherry, greeted their friends from near and far, ate a delicious dinner, and began the ball with the traditional grand march. Well, lo and behold, the complaints had it all wrong. All too quickly, the last dance was done. People said goodbye to their friends from near and far, elated by the hours of fun and dancing, and everyone lived happily ever after. It seems to me that that's not atypical of things that come up in planning and executing our events. Well, in this time of pandemic, 2020 would be our 52nd ball, and here we are. So I'm going to turn the program back to Robert now, and we have some more music, some more song, and a little more dance.
Right.
Before we call it a day.
Thank you, Isabel. So Barbara and I are going to do some more Scottish singing, and I hope you sing along. This is the Lee Rig. She'll tell you a little bit more about it, but of course it is a very popular Scottish country dance.
Yeah, all I was going to say, it's also an old reel, which was turned into more like a slow march or a pastoral by these memorable words by Robert Burns. And Robert and I, we've driven across the whole country several times, and that's a really good time to learn a lot of songs. So we're kind of picking up on what we've been doing occasionally. Okay, I guess I can, everybody else can see me around that thing.
Sorry, do you want me to?
All right, so
say daft and weary, oh, down by the burn where scented bursts with dew are hanging clear, my Joe. I'll meet thee on the lee rig, my kind dearie, oh. At midnight hour in Mercus Glen I'd row the dune, the birds to steer my show. Give me the hour of gloam and gray. It makes my heart say cheerio to meet thee on the lee rig. My commandeerio, give me the hour of gloam and gray. It makes my heart say cheerio to meet thee on the lee rig. My commandeerio. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. One of our favorite songs. All right, now we're moving back to an instrumental piece, and this is another of the videos that Anne and Beth made. And I should mention that I said that Elizabeth Anderson is the current U.S. National Scottish Fiddle Champion. Well, Anne Hooper was a two-time Scottish National Fiddle Champion. So Elizabeth is going to have to make sure she can match that at some point in her life. And of course, Beth is well known in the Boston branch. She was actually president of the branch for many years. So I think they're going to mention the tunes that they're going to play. I think it's we've got an air, a march, and a strathspey, and a reel. So if Risa's ready, we'll go ahead with it. Thank you.
I am. Thanks so much. And we're gonna
Hello everybody. We wish we were with you in person, but even from afar we can play for you with our wonderful technological expertise. Beth Murray and I are going to play one of my favorite solo sets, starting with a slow air called Roseacre by J. Scott Skinner, followed by a wonderful march called Bonnie Ann, no relation, and then a strathspey as played by J. Scott Skinner called Buckingham House, otherwise known as Athol Bros. Finally, the reel, Master Andrew Grant by J. Scott Skinner.
Thank you, Anne and Beth.
Mm.
All right, so we're moving back to the Andersons. So we're going to have Elizabeth and Ben play for another dance set. This is a set of strathspeys used for Balchwitter strathspey. And because it's a dance set, we're going to provide you with talk through, and Isabel is going to provide this. I'll pass it back to Isabel and then to the Andersons.
Great. Thanks, Robert. And thanks, Elizabeth and Ben. Even before you play a chord, I know it's going to be great. Balchwitter strathspey, this is another entry in book 24 from 1978. And that's a great book. There's probably about 5 or 6 dances that are danced a lot, and this is one of them. So again, pick your first position on either side of the dance, and it goes like this. First and second and third couples dance crossover mirror reels of 3 for the first 8 bars. First couple then cross back and they dance the reels on their own sides of the dance. Joining nearer hands, first couple lead down between second couple, face your partner and set, lead back up and cast off to face first corners. Turn your first corner right hand, partner left hand, second corner right hand, partner left hand, and you're ready to begin again. The Balchwitter strathspey.
We are going to play 4 rounds through this, and the set was very generously given to us by Barbara McGowan, so this is her arrangement of this. So the tunes are Mr. Oswald of Oakencreeve's Strathspey by Robert McIntosh, which is the title tune, going to Miss McDowell Grant of Arndilly by William Marshall, and then the Highlands of Banffshire by Captain Simon Fraser. much. Before we turn it back to Robert, I just want to say thank you all for being here, and we miss playing for you and dancing with you dearly. So it's really great to see everybody virtually.
Thanks, Elizabeth, and thanks, Ben. And I should mention they've recorded music together, so you can watch for their CDs. You have 1 or 2 CDs? You've recorded CDs together, right?
Yes. We have one CD that's recent. It's available on everywhere: Spotify, Bandcamp, iTunes.
Okay.
And our website, I can put our website in the chat if anybody is interested in picking it up.
I think that'd be great because it's really lovely music. All right, thanks again. And we're coming up on our last number. So this is the big blowout number with the big band. So we've got the Websters, Marielle and Cam. And as you may know, Campbell plays the drums. And he's kind of our regular drummer in Tulloch-Gorham. But of course, he's also a piper. So we have to sort of decide, is he playing drums or pipes on this one? Well, with the magic of recorded video, we can do more than that. And I also want to mention their mother, Leslie Webster, has been watching. And of course, she did a great job in raising them and instilling in them the love of Scottish culture and music and dance. And I should also mention that she was the one who trained me as a Highland dance teacher. So she's multi-talented as well. And since this is, and of course, Terry Traub will be playing piano on this. So it's really a group effort, and they'll be playing an arrangement that Tulloch-Gorham plays for this dance, which is the Reel of the Royal Scots. And I think they're playing it all 8 times through. So let me talk it through so that if you're a dancer and you want to imagine yourself dancing to it or get up and dance with imaginary partners, you're free to do so. So it begins, it's a 32-bar reel for 3 couples, begins with the 1s facing down, 2s facing up, and the 2s turn the 1s into double triangle position, and then set. And then the 1s turn the 3s into double triangles position, and set. Then the 1s, taking nearer hands, dance up to the top, followed by the 3s. The 1s cast off, followed by the 3s. The 1s dance down, nearer hands join, cast up, round 3rd position, and in to face their first corners as the 3s finish in their original places. The first couple turn first corner by the right. They pass each other by the right shoulder. They turn second corner by the right, pass each other by the right shoulder to finish in second place on your own sides. And the dance concludes with circles, 6 hands round to the left and back to the right. So I want to thank everybody for contributing to this. It's been a lot of fun. And this is my last MC number, so we'll see the video, and then I think there's some more festivities afterwards. Thank you all.
So one of the things I do want to say is this is a wonderful thing. At almost 2 hours in, we have not had people leave. In fact, we've had a couple of people join in. So our numbers, which is great. I just want to say a few words of thank you because let's say it goes without saying that an event, live or virtual, needs work and help from people who give their time and also their love. So I want to thank all the friends who've contributed to our program this afternoon. For Nicholas Persini, who suggested a virtual ball and gave us the slide presentation of the inimitable Jeannie Carmichael. Daniel Scher, who's a member of the New York branch exec, who took your virtual registrations and distributed the publicity for this event. To Shelby Peak, another New York branch executive committee member who set up the donation access on the New York branch website. I'm just going to say a quick reminder, it's really easy to find at www.rscdsnework.org and click on the donate button. And all your dollars are going to the musicians this afternoon. Again, thank you, Teresa, our Zoom mistress, who has guided us into the virtual realm this afternoon, complete with a few interesting tweaks. Robert, for serving as our MC, briefing dances and playing guitar, who's just always a brick, always there, and always a great friend. Thank you, Robert. Members of the virtual Tullochgorm Band. The band was booked for this year, but they have not allowed Corona to deter them. And I want to thank Anne and Beth, Elizabeth and Ben, Marielle, Cam, and Terry, Barbara and Robert, and a special thank you to Barbara McGowan for a fun and varied program. Finally, a thank you again to all of you for joining us on Zoom. We are certainly planning to be live and in person next year at our new venue. Risa, can you put those photos up? Okay, so this is the Grand Auditorium of the Poppenhusen Institute. It's in College Point, New York, and this will be the venue for the 2021 live and in-person Jeannie Carmichael Ball. It's just a most wonderful place to be, a wonderful place to dance, and the venue as a whole is a really great one for us. So I'm very much looking forward to for us all to be together. So that's all I have for this afternoon. And I think we're ready to open the chat room and everybody can unmute and visit for a few minutes before we close out.